Hello friends and welcome to my channel, Heidi Sonboul DIY. In today's episode, we are going to be flipping and doing some makeovers to some thrift store finds. These are items that people have donated and gotten rid of because they thought they didn't have any home, and today we're going to transform them. Alright, now let's get crafting. I am always so shocked when I see the things at thrift stores that are being donated. A lot of the times they are solid, substantial pieces of decor that were donated that people just didn't know what to do with them. And with something as simple as white paint, you can transform pretty much anything, which we're going to be doing that today with these projects. And keep in mind, I did get half off on this day that I went to the thrift store, so everything is less than what the tag says. We're going to start with this urn that I got for about $3.50. I could not believe when I saw this. I was so excited. I took it outside first and I spray painted it a gold that I had on hand. And I'm going to also now come in and layer and feather on this gold paint that I picked up from Walmart. So we're going to just very lightly add on a different layer of gold. This first gold that was a spray paint was more of a pewter gold, and I picked that up from Walmart as well. So I like to layer on my different layers of paint when it comes to this technique. It's going to really give it that pewtered, aged look that we want. It's very trendy right now. I actually saw an urn that was just like this on Pottery Barn, and they were selling it for like $100. And I'm going to do mine for $4. I mean, really, I bought it for $3.50. And then the cost of the paint, we'll just say like 50 cents. So you can see I came in with the spray paint first, then the brighter gold, and now I'm coming in with a dark brown, and I'm going in between all the crevices, patting it, wiping it, making sure it's getting down into those grooves, and then I'm coming back in again and feathering on that lighter gold. Doing all of this together is really going to age that pot and make it look like it's an antique heirloom. Now I'm going to take a piece of foam core, poke a whole bunch of holes in it, because the picture that I saw, the inspiration on Pottery Barn, they had a fern inside of this, and I thought it was beautiful. So we're going to use a whole bunch of these different fern pieces from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to layer a whole bunch of different fern pieces because I feel like that makes it look more realistic versus just sticking with one plant. So I just have a collection of different fern plants. Once you stick that inside, it's ready to be displayed in your home. You saved so much money, and this looks so high-end and beautiful. We are now going to take this little duck. I loved this little friend when I saw it on the shelf. I ended up getting it for $2.50. These are actually collectible items, and I know a lot of people are always looking for these because you can really transform them, or you can keep them as is. It depends on what your style of your home is. I took mine outside and I spray painted with a flat white spray paint. And now we're going to come in and we're simply going to just dry brush on a dark brown. That's it. We are going to give this little duck a whole new life. And if you love ducks like I do, or birds of any kind, I love bird decor in my home. If you do love it as much as I do, you're going to now start hunting down these ducks. So you can see that I light brushed over its back feathers, and then the chest had really fine scratching through the detailing of it. So I came on first with a heavier dark brown, wiped off the majority of that, and then I came back in and kept feathering it on very lightly until I got all of those grooves to show through. I did want to keep it a little bit darker right underneath the duck's neck because that added a lot of depth and texture to the duck. And then the bill of the duck, his beak, I also kept that looking a little bit darker as well. So just keep playing with it, feathering on your paint until you get it to that concrete, beautiful look that is very trendy in Farmhouse right now. If you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out here on my channel. I love doing these free craft classes. I hope you enjoy them too, and giving that thumbs up lets me know that you are. Another thing I love to do when I go to thrift stores is I love to look for different items that I can bring together as one. So this lantern, I'm going to take off all of this super busy stuff on top of it. Boy, was it ever glued on. I actually had to break the top a little bit to get that to come off because it was wired and super glued onto the top, well, probably hot glued, onto the top of this lantern. So I finally got it off. You could see that it was wired on there, and I needed that little nub part for the little handle to go into. And then I'm just going to take my Cricut scraper and I'm just going to scrape all that garbage off of there, glue the top part back on as well as the handle, getting that all back in place, and then I can finally take it outside to spray paint it. But before I do that, because I want to still see the pretty glass, I made sure that I came back in with my painter's tape. A quick tip that I like to do with painter's tape is that instead of struggling with trying to cut the most perfect piece ever, because that just takes way too long, I like to come in, layer on my tape, and then after I get everything all pushed into the grooves and the crevices that I can, I take my craft knife and then I just cut along and score that edge. That is going to save you so much time doing it that way versus trying to perfectly cut a piece of tape. It's like almost impossible. So this way, it makes you feel like you're not going to lose your mind when you're trying to preserve the glass, keep it clean, and keep it simple. That's my favorite way to do it. Keep it clean, keep it simple. So then I also am going to take this other piece. These are the two pieces I'm bringing together. This was a candle holder. It is so pretty when you bring these two together. Now you can see I took them both outside, spray painted them white with a flat white paint, and now I'm going to come in and do some farmhouse distressing because I love me some farmhouse. And I'm just going to go along the edges. Some areas where hands might be touching, and I'll go a little bit heavier in those spots. But in general, I don't like to go too rustic with my stuff. I still want to see the white coming through. So once I did the lantern, I'm coming through on that candle holder. And the crazy thing is the round circle on this candle holder is the perfect exact size needed for the bottom of this lantern. When I put these two together, I kind of squealed in the thrift store and someone looked at me. I get a little wild in the thrift stores. Maybe one of these days I will take you all with me on a thrift store hunt and we can do a video for that. Leave a comment down below or give this video a thumbs up and let me know if you would love to go for a thrift hunt with me in a video. But then I just basically took off the painter's tape, and anything that bled through, I'm going to use my scraper again and just come through and clean up that little bleed through, pop it on top so that I can turn it on and off when I want, and it's got a beautiful finished look that saved me tons of money. Altogether, this project cost me $3.50 to make. Can you believe that? These sell for so much at stores. When I saw this little farmhouse church, I was so giddy. I know I saw this at Hobby Lobby like a year ago, and they were selling this for close to 40 bucks. Even with the coupon, it still is not going to beat the price I spent on this, which was $3.50. So I definitely popped that into my shopping cart. And today we're going to start by just taking some painter's tape to preserve that rustic corrugated metal. It is going to shine when we paint this thing. I think the reason why it was probably donated was the green. It's a little bold of a color. If you're doing it for like Christmas, it's probably good, but if not, you'll see how I'm going to transform it in just a second. As I was putting the painter's tape on the awning over the front door of this little church, one of the staples came loose, so I just decided to pull the whole thing off. And then at that point I took it outside, gave it a couple coats of spray paint, which was a flat white, and now I'm going to be dry brushing on a dark brown. You can see here that I'm really trying to get a lot of the paint off onto a paper towel, because the more the dry brush you have, the better it's going to have a nice aged look versus being too heavy with the paint. So now that I've got my paintbrush loaded, ready to go, I'm going to take off all of that painter's tape, and anywhere where you see the white bleed through on the corrugated metal, I'm going to come back in after I do all my dry brushing, and I'm going to touch up that paint. The other tip you can do, you can take a piece of sandpaper and sand off any of that excess paint. It'll come off really nicely, and then if you still want to touch it up with some brown paint, you can. So see, at this point I'm already starting to come in, do some dry brushing on it, on the areas where hands would naturally touch, and then up underneath that corrugated metal where the white got, I went ahead and just touched that up to clean it all up. Friends, the white paint made this corrugated farmhouse rustic looking metal shine. It was so pretty. Once the white and the brown from the rooftop came together, I love it so much, and I bet you if it was white, the person probably would not have donated it. Now at this point, I love using a staple gun. I think being a thrifter, you should always have a staple gun. It's amazing how many things you can bring home and fix by just using a staple gun. So I'm going to just staple back on that little awning above the little door of my church. And then to match the staples to the rustic look, I'm going to go ahead and just tap that with the brown paint to conceal those staples. At this point, friends, oh my word, this little church, it just makes my heart so happy. I think it's so cute. And can you believe it? It was at Hobby Lobby. I saw it there. It saved so much money. Anyway, I hope you'll give this one a try and look for these cute little churches or wooden farmhouse buildings at your thrift store. This next find, I'm so excited because you can tell that someone owned it, donated it to Savers, someone bought it from Savers, that's a Savers thrift tag, then that person donated it to the Goodwill, and then I picked it up for $3. I, unfortunately, am not able to share the results because we had some really rough weather come through, and when I spray painted this, it just would not dry. So come over to Instagram, my account is Heidi Sonboul, and there you will see how I finished this project's look. I see a lot of stuff like this at the thrift store, and I know a lot of people pass it up because you think, what do I do with this? But guess what? I realized that this circular cylinder shape fits the cylinder vases from the Dollar Tree perfectly. So I brought it home, cleaned it up, spray painted it a beautiful light gray, and now I'm just going to give it that farmhouse look by just sanding the edges so it kind of brings out that metal some. And then super, super simple, I'm going to just take the glass, slide them in with the glass vases and the metal all together. It was about $3.25 to make this look over. And it's such a beautiful way to display your items in your kitchen with a fun twist. I had so much fun making these over. They are always such a treat for me. Do please subscribe if you are new and this is your first time visiting. And if you are new and you haven't heard, or you're returning and you haven't heard, I am posting now Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you so much for visiting with me today and popping in to see these before and after makeovers. Again, I had so much fun. And from me to you, I wish that you get a chance to be able to visit your craft room and make something new today. I'm going to recommend a couple of videos here at the end. If you're interested in this, you might be interested in these ones as well. Thanks so much for stopping by, and until the next episode, bye friends.